Hi, I'm Movie Man. I'm an octopus who reviews movies, and today's review is going to be on. I knew indeed this movie was coming out, of course, I did see the trailer. I thought the trailer actually looked very good, it definitely really looks like a very interesting spy thriller movie. As I know, the film is directed by Steven Soderbergh and is written by David Koepp. I have enjoyed some of their previous works in the past. Well, what I've seen from both of them, Soderbergh as a director and Koepp as a writer. Now, obviously, I know that this actually isn't the first movie that's come out this year that the two of them worked on. Well, I know of obviously back in January, their movie Presence came out, which I actually did see that film, in case you're wondering, but I just didn't get a chance to review it. I might review it, maybe at some point later down the line if I do get a chance. But for now, I guess you might just have to wait. But yeah, I did see Presence when it came out. But now, Soderbergh and Koepp, they're giving us another movie, but this time being Black Bag. As I said, I like the trailers, and I do like both of them. I like Soderbergh as a director, I like Koepp as a writer. Not to mention a really good cast we have in this as well. So I was quite looking forward to this movie. I went to see it there this past weekend when it came out, and having seen it for myself now, overall, I would say that I really liked this film. Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this movie. Getting into my thoughts on the film. First off, the cinematography in this movie is really, really good. What's interesting is that, as well as being the film's director, Soderbergh is also the cinematographer for the movie, and he did a really good job. I have to say, the way that he films this movie is really good. There's honestly some really good shots in this movie, some of these really cool close-up shots of some of the characters, and some of the camera angles that we have in this at times. They're honestly really, really good. There's even some some zooming shots where we're kind of zooming down on things and stuff. And I have to say, I really like a lot of those shots. They're honestly just really, really good. Yeah, honestly, it's a very well shot movie. So I have to say, Soderbergh did a great job in terms of filming the movie. So the cinematography was very good. I have to say the editing in the movie also is really good. And what's interesting is that I didn't mention this, but as well as being the director and the cinematographer, Soderbergh is also the film's editor as well. He was a director, a cinematographer, and the editor for the movie. Although, in terms of being a cinematographer and an editor, he is, of course, credited under two different names. As a cinematographer, he's credited as Peter Andrews, and as an editor, he's credited as Mary Ann Bernard. It's definitely an interesting choice of his, but it is honestly quite funny. But yeah, I already mentioned he did a really good job filming the movie, and he did a really good job editing this film as well. Like, I have to say, I really do like the way this movie is edited, because with this film, Soderbergh definitely has, like, a particular style when it comes to the editing for this film, because, like, if you see from the trailer, the movie is edited like in like this very particular way. It's like cutting, kind of between all these different scenes happening, but the way it's cutting through all these scenes, it honestly just feels kind of natural and stuff, and that's honestly the case in this movie, because we have the film like being edited, right? We're cutting through all these different scenes, but like even like we get like a fair amount of time on certain scenes, and then it will cut away to different scenes. But there'll be times during certain scenes in the film where we're even cutting and we're showing like these like flashbacks to things that have happened before that the characters are talking about in conversations. So yeah, I have to say, it's definitely a very particular style of editing, but honestly, I really liked it. I think it actually really fit the movie. So yeah, as well as shooting the movie very well, Soderbergh did a really good job in terms of editing this movie, and a very good job directing it as well. But yeah, more on that in a bit. So the editing was good. In terms of the pace, now, this movie is not very long at all. This movie is only 93 minutes, so it's actually kind of a short enough runtime, and honestly, I think the movie goes by decently enough. Like, I mean, like, as I said, it's only an hour and a half long, and yeah, to be honest, it doesn't feel like that long of a movie. I think it does go by pretty well, and I will say there's quite like a lot of scenes in this movie. A good majority of this film is where we're having these characters, sitting down and like they're having these conversations and stuff. But like even the way they're shown and stuff in the movie, like, I mean, granted, I don't really think they actually feel like all too long. Like, I feel like maybe some audience members could kind of feel some of these scenes going on for a bit, but I felt personally they were actually engaging enough to where I didn't really mind the fact that the movie was kind of just showing these characters talking and stuff. It did honestly fit really well for the movie, and as I said, it's a brisk enough 93 minutes. It's not too long of a film, and yeah, Charles, I don't really think the movie needed to be too long, so I overall thought they did a good job with the runtime, so the pace was quite good. Now, in terms of the sounds and music, I will say the movie has some solid sound effects. Like, there actually is some pretty good sound work in this throughout the film that I liked. With these different things going on, they were pretty good. I have to say the score in the movie was quite good as well. Like, the movie has this sort of kind of a classic, kind of jazzy score to it. If it kind of feels like the kind of score that like you might hear in sort of kind of like maybe like an older kind of spy movie or something like from the 60s, if you know what I'm saying. It kind of has that real sort of classic jazz score to it, but I really liked it personally. I actually thought it really fit for the movie. It was a good score. So overall, I would say that the sound and music in the movie was very good. Now, in terms of the characters and the acting, so first off, with our main character George, so yeah, George is our protagonist, and he's the one who's basically having to track down whoever this leak is. But I have to say, I think he does make for an engaging protagonist, and I think a lot of that definitely does come down to the performance from Michael Fassbender, because I have to say, Michael Fassbender, he's really good in this movie. I think he does a really good job in terms of playing his character. I think he definitely gives his character a lot of personality. He is very convincing as, this, agent who's, having to track down this leak. He plays this role really well. He's very convincing. And like I said, I think he does really carry the movie. He does a very good job in this. But also George's wife, Kathryn, I liked her character as well. With her being one of the prime suspects of being the leak, she is kind of a bit of a mysterious character. You are wondering, is it really her? Is, was she actually the leak, or what's going on? I do like her character, and of course she's played by Cate Blanchett, who also does a really good job in this movie. I think she does well in terms of, giving off some of the mystery aspects of her character, but I have to say I also really liked her chemistry with a lot of the other cast members, but especially Michael Fassbender. I have to say the two of them are honestly both really good in this. They have genuinely great chemistry in this film. You actually do really feel them as this spy couple. Their chemistry is so good. They feel like they could nearly even carry a whole franchise, to be honest. But yeah, and it's really interesting, watching this happen, and George is in this moral dilemma where is he loyal to his marriage or his country? It's honestly really interesting to watch. So yeah, I have to say the two of them are really good. But even a lot of these other supporting cast members, because we also have these four other actors in this movie. They're basically these four other friends of George and Kathryn's, and they're the other suspects. I have to say I do really like all of them as characters for the scenes that they got. They pretty much all get their own time to shine. They're honestly all just really good in this. In this cast we have the likes of Naomie Harris, rege-jean and Tom Burke, who all do really well in this, but I have to say I think my favourite character out of a lot of them would have to be Clarissa, who is kind of the surveillance expert. Honestly, I really liked her character. She actually got some genuine laughs out of me. I have to say, Marisa Abela is really good in terms of playing this character. She really gives her character personality, and as I said, I found her honestly quite funny in this, so I feel I definitely liked her character the most. But I thought they were all good enough, and they all had kind of interesting roles for what screen time they had. But not only all of them, but we also have a role in this from none other than the former 007 himself, Pierce Brosnan. That's right, the Irish James Bond is also in this movie. He kind of has a smaller role in this. He's kind of the boss, He's the one who's ordering them also find this leak. And like Pierce Brosnan, he's not in this movie all that much, but honestly, he's really good for the brief screen time that he has. He honestly does make his character very memorable. So I have to say, the cast were all really good in this. I liked the characters themselves, and as I said, the acting's really good. Like Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett both lead the film tremendously, but all the supporting cast are also very good, especially Marisa Abela. So yeah, I have to say, I think pretty much everybody, put on a good show in this. Now, in terms of the film's plot, now, you might, watch the trailer for this movie or something. You might kind of look at this film, and, you might expect it to be, this kind of action spy caper, kind of like, a James Bond sort of movie. All I'll say is, do not go into this movie expecting that, because, as I said, if you go into this film expecting it to, be this kind of James Bond style action spy movie, you are going to be very disappointed, as, to be perfectly honest, that is actually not what this movie is at all. This is honestly not an action movie. This is not an action film at all. There's honestly really little action in this film. There's kind of one or two maybe small little scenes of action, but honestly, for the most part, this film is really just more of a spy thriller movie, as the plot of this film is, there's a leak in the agency, and they send out this, powerful weapon to Russia, and so Michael Fassbender's character George has to figure out who the leak is, and he's given a list of 5 suspects consisting of his wife Kathryn and all the other characters who I mentioned. And yeah, honestly, it does make for a really good plot. I think it is very well executed here. Because as I said, George is a really interesting character with, how he's put into this moral dilemma of, does he really trust his wife? Is his wife who she really is? But of course, you also have these other characters who are also suspects, and really it's up to George to figure out, who is the leak. And it's really interesting to watch. I think the movie honestly does a pretty good job in terms of, kind of keeping you guessing, who the leak is. And even with the film not having much action, I think the movie works enough on its own as just being a spy thriller. Now, one thing I will say about this movie is that it's definitely a very dialogue-driven film. If you're not really a huge fan of kind of dialogue-driven movies, where a good chunk of the film consists of, characters, having these conversations and stuff, giving off dialogue, if those kinds of films aren't really your thing, then this movie might not be for you, because, like, honestly, a lot of this film really is these characters just sitting down and they're having these conversations. And, like, yeah, as I said, it's not going to work for everyone, but for me personally, I honestly thought it really worked, because, like, these interactions that we get from these characters are engaging to watch. Also, like, we have some genuinely really talented actors who are definitely doing very well in this. Kind of really making this movie very engaging. And, like, not to mention, as I said, the movie does a good job of keep you guessing who is the leak. Like, throughout the movie, there's a bunch of interesting things happening. There's some cool kind of twists and turns that definitely help make the movie very engaging. As I said, you're just constantly guessing who is the leak. And, like, overall, I'd say, it does pay off pretty well. There's a good kind of ending to it. But yeah, honestly, as the plot goes, I thought it was really good. It honestly really worked on me. As I said, this movie probably won't be for everyone, with it being a very dialogue-driven film, but for me personally, I honestly thought that, like, it worked very well. So, yeah, overall, I would say the plot of the movie is very good. And in terms of the narrative structure, like I said, really our main plot kind of is, George trying to figure out who the leak is. Is it his wife, or is it one of these other characters? But, like, we do have a fair amount of subplots in the movie. We're getting to see, like, all these different characters and their kind of own perspectives, and, because, like, we're being kind of told, like, the relationships between a lot of these characters. And the movie honestly does very well to, like, you do get interested in the characters, and I think a lot of it does come down to the fact that all the casts are really good in this, and, definitely making their characters engaging. And yeah, throughout the movie, you are definitely wondering, who could it be? Is it this character, or could it be this character? Like, it's a good kind of mystery spy thriller for sure. As I said, like, they all fit in together really well. It does feel, like a clear narrative. And as I said, like, the ending of the movie is very good. And, like, I honestly think that, the twist of, like, who turned out to be the leak, it was a good twist. And I thought it worked pretty well. Like, it was a smartly written movie, and yeah, I thought they did a good job really structuring the narrative, and, making it all feel rather satisfying and stuff. So overall, the narrative structure was really good for what it was. So overall, I have to say, I honestly really enjoyed Black Bag. Like, it's very well shot. It's, very well edited. There's good music in there. There's solid characters. There's some really good acting from the whole cast. And it does make for, like, an interesting spy thriller mystery where, it leaves you guessing as to who could be the leak, and, like, you get invested in our main character and him trying to figure it all out. It's smartly written, and it honestly makes for a good, 90-minute thriller. So I really enjoyed the movie. As I said, it probably won't be a film for everyone. Like, as I said, if you're not a fan of dialogue driven movies, then this probably won't be for you. But, like, if you can get with that, then I would say this movie is definitely worth a watch. So, yeah, overall, I would say that I honestly really, really enjoyed this film. So, with all that said, I am going to give Black Bag a very strong 8 out of 10. So, with that, I'll see you guys next time, and bye.